Hello, are we live? Welcome back to another stream, and hopefully the audio is just nice on this one. I'm gonna check it out in a bit. Let's do that now actually. So testing, audio testing. Let's check this audio. Testing. Testing, audio testing. Let's check it out in a bit. Let's do that now actually. So yeah, I mean, you can't really hear the music. Let's turn it up for just a little bit, and then I think we'll be ready to go. Please let me know if the quality of the mic is a little bit shit, and I can maybe change that. So what are we doing in this stream? This stream I'd just like to pick up from where we left last one. So I think last time we installed a few debugger plugins for Vim. So we installed nvim-dap, and we managed to get that working. And we also realized that we needed a debugging UI. So yeah, let me just actually take you through what we did. Let's begin by looking at that. So let's open our vim-rc. One of the things I did as well, by the way, was installing this tabs plugin here. So basically, whenever you open a buffer or a new file in Vim, you're gonna get a tab here, and I just thought that was nice to have because that's something I can't really work without in most IDEs. So yeah. So we've got the theme installation, we've got the DAP UI, that's what we installed. And I installed a markdown preview that I don't really need it anymore. But yeah, I mean, the tabs was installed with these plugins here. So nvim tree, nvim web dev icons, just for the icons. So as you can see the Vim icon there. And then the actual plugin itself is the bar.nvim, which you can find in this GitHub repository here. So if you're interested, go and install that by yourself, and then you can have that. But let's actually take a look at the usage of this plugin though. That's what we're interested in today. So the idea is to open the audio project that we've got, and let's try and maybe refactor some code and modify some code, and let's debug it essentially. Let's run it and debug and see if everything is running just fine. So yeah. Before, I've actually forgot the name of the thing. What was it called? Because I'm going to be looking at the usage, so I need to look up online here. And let's use our extremely slow Chrome here on Raspberry Pi 4. So this is the plugin that we installed. Let's see how to actually use it. And I believe it was, from reading the GitHub repository last time, it was a pain basically to configure this properly. There was a lot of configuration files and whatnot. Well, not configuration files, but a lot of configuration commands and stuff. So let's just give it a quick glance and see if there's anything we need to do here. Let me zoom in so you guys can read it if you want to follow up. If not, you can just sit and watch until I finish this. So they call the UI components, I guess, the elements. I remember that much. The UI is split between a sidebar, which sits on the side of the screen, and a tray, which sits on the bottom of the screen by default. Both of these can contain any available elements, and the position of each can be changed to any side of the screen. So basically, you can configure like the stack trace or something like that, either on the side or on the bottom. That's what this is saying. Let me just open the whole thing so we can actually get a better idea of how this is working. So let's navigate into the audio project. Let's use Vim to open this. Okay, and let's open one of the main file here. And you can see the tab plugin working quite nicely there. So I've got main.cpp. If I open audio.cpp, I can go back and forth here with the tabs, or I can use the commands as well. I think it's in Vim, if Control 6 will go back and forth to where you were before. So it's a nice little command you can learn. And Control Shift 6 will go the other way around, essentially. So yeah. But anyway, what we want to do is just to open the debugger so we can see what it looks like. And to be honest with you guys, I don't remember the command to open it, so let's take a look. nvim-dap. And if you think this browsing experience is really slow, just rest assured that this is running on a Raspberry Pi 4, not my main PC. That's why it's really, really slow, and I do apologize for that. I mean, let's open the help, the AP adapter. We don't really want to configure the server, we just want to open the debugger. Let's find the main file, set debugging here. So I've got breakpoint there, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, there's the B there. And then, oh yeah, it was F5, right? F5 will actually run this. Yeah, I had to remember that from the top of my head, because I remember we set some maps from the debugger adapter to Vim. So pressing F5 will essentially run the program that you select here. So I think it's actually in build, isn't it? Let's have a look here. So first of all, before we do this, let's actually, see where our executable is so we can run it. And ideally, you know, every time you want to debug something, you have to enter the whole path to it, which is not ideal. We want to probably have something like, you know, Visual Studio Code has, where you can create a launch.json file and it will pick up all the configurations for you. And if I'm not mistaken, nvim-dap does support that. We just gotta figure out how to set that up. But anyway, if we go into source and then audio demo, that's where our audio demo stuff is, right? Okay, cool. So let's begin by splitting this vertically, because I'm actually gonna just use this tab on the bottom here to build the thing. And please full screen, there you go. I'm just building this so the executables are up to date with the code we've got here, because I'm not entirely sure whether or not I've changed anything on the file, but just want to make sure that the breakpoints will be hit properly. And also, for now, let me just remove this because it gets quite confusing, I understand. Okay, so everything's built. And yeah, let's run the thing now. So it's inside build, source, src, audio demo, right? Audio demo is the executable itself. So it seems to be running it, and the breakpoint was hit, which is good. So it's still working. What we're failing to see now is the actual UI, right? So yeah. How do we open the UI again? Because I have no idea. Jesus, where is the oh, there you go. Let's just use the Lua commands, I guess. Lua require dap UI open, right? Right? Maybe not. You can open, close, and toggle windows with corresponding function. Okay, so the PUI, the open. Ah, it's not opening this time, so we must have messed up something. Interesting. Or maybe we have to set up. It does say here that we have to call setup first. I'm just being an idiot. Require the PUI. And I hope to, oh, for God's sake, I hope to actually learn Lua while learning all this stuff here, setting up my whole nvim. So we've set up, now we do an open, I guess. And there you go. So now that seems to work. So the stack trace is there. Okay, let's step over F10. So we've got the data.multiplier. Okay, so data, does it say what's inside it? First of all, let's figure out what we actually want here. Do we want the watches? Probably not. We don't want to have watches because I just kind of want to go into the stack and see what's in there, really. This is the scopes, I guess. Oh, right, so this is actually the watches. This is the stacks, and this is the scope, yeah. So let's debloat this entire thing. So what we want to do here is get rid of the stacks. What the hell is this? This scratch. I don't know what this is. Can I run commands here? Can I run commands here? So I guess there's a... okay, so there you go. This is where you run the commands for LLDB, I think, right? So for example, if we type in the data, cool, it gives me what the data is and the multiplier values and whatnot. So data.left, it will show me that it's a boost lock-free queue, which is cool. So in a way I can see what the values are, so that's good. That's a good start. So yeah, let's actually begin by debugging is not the word, debloating this. So what I... Ah, okay, so I can actually open this as a... Oh, okay. Oh, that's great, isn't it? There's a little bit of a mistake there. A little bit of an error. Anyway, going back into the audio file. Where are we? Okay, yeah. We definitely want to close this when debugging. That's the file manager, so we have more space to look at things. We definitely want to decrease the size of this a little bit. We want to remove this, whatever this is. So basically remove the watches, leave the scopes. Maybe we can remove the breakpoints as well. I mean, it's useful knowing what the breakpoints are, but I kind of just want to remove it as well so we have less stuff to look at. So let's begin with that. Removing watches, the stacks, and this window, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. So let's look at the documentation here on how to do it. Let's let's close all. Let's bring you back here. So the default settings are these. Mappings, use a table to... Let's try and understand this a little bit. And by the way, before starting all this nvim and Raspberry Pi work, I've never touched a Lua before, so it's quite a nice experience to actually learn some of it, so we can modify the configuration files for nvim. Elements can be strings or tables with ID and size. Okay, it would be nice to sort of put this into a vim file and include it into our vimrc, right? So let's do that. So essentially this is Lua script. What we want to do is put into all of this into a vimrc, but I don't want to put the whole thing into a vimrc, obviously. What I want to do is put into a separate file and then include it into a vimrc. I think that can be done, and we can probably do the same here for the LLDB configuration for the DAP and whatnot, but let's leave those as it is now. And also let's figure out whether or not we can find this, if there is a default configuration file somewhere. So we've got nvim here. No, it doesn't seem to be here. So yeah, I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to edit a file. Let's call it. I don't know. First of all, let's put it into the right place, right? So if it's a nvim configuration, then we probably want to put it into here somewhere. Now, what do we want to call it? Let's call it nvim-dap UI config or something .vim, and then we can do the Lua okay, and then we put all the Lua stuff here. Right, as far as I know, that's it. So first of all, let's just do this. Oh gosh, there you go. Copy the whole thing and add it right here. Okay, cool. Now let's see how we can include a vim file inside vimrc. Vim include vim inside vimrc or something. Vim script includes in vimrc. I'm really hoping there is something. Like source runtime doesn't need an absolute path to work. It's much better than source for building. Okay. Okay, so it seems like runtime will do it for us. Let's try that. I'm going to paste it after all of the DAP configuration because I don't want it to override anything that may be there. Theme settings after plugins. Okay, let's see, runtime. Config and vim, and then we've got this one here. I really like this feature that it just shows you the paths. I love it. Well, let's see if it worked. I mean, how do we know that it's worked? That's a good question. I don't know. Let's just open nvim. No errors are thrown, but the question is, has it actually included the file in it? A good way to see if how do we actually print hello world from vim-rc or something. I mean, before I even do any of that, let's close that. What I could do is, like, whenever I open Vim, it just sets the lines for me, right? So we can just unset the lines, I guess. But no, let's see how we can print a value from the vim-rc file. Okay, so that it shows hello down here. Maybe if I can do that from the nvim-dap config as the very last thing. So if I do echo hello world or something like that from nvim-dap UI config or something, at least, you know, I've got some peace of mind that it will be working. And it didn't do that, did it? What is the command to open? Is just O, right? Or am I just being stupid? Vim open a file. Can't believe I'm looking for this. I think it's just O. That's the command. Oh, edit. Open a new file for editing. Of course. It's E. So let's do that instead of echoing this text here. So let's just do E. And if we look at our vim-rc or something like that. Does it work? If I do E and then vim-rc. So basically what I'm getting here is that this is not working. It's not actually opening the vim-rc file, which means this file is not being included in our vim-rc properly. Which is a shame, is it? Is it possible to include external files to be sourced in the vim-rc file? Maybe if we use source instead. In fact, there is something being done here. So source, okay. They're using source here, so let's do the same. Okay, so where are we? We're here. So runtime, let's just do source. Now it's better. Now it's better because it's actually giving me errors, which is what I expected. Nvim. Wait, what the hell? So So let's remove this edit from here and let's see if it still throws errors. Line 84, error loading Lua, expected near EOF, okay. Line 84, that's where it was complaining. I thought this was the usage for Lua scripts in Vim, right? Let's see, help Lua. And if we look at how we can include Lua scripts into Vim, I'm looking at the how to include Lua, and I'm pretty sure you can just do 3. I've done this before. Like, what am I even googling? It's on my VimRC. If I look down here, see EOF there, which means I must have a Lua somewhere. There you go, Lua. Ah, I know what it is. I think I put the, this is a Vim file, so it doesn't need the column there. Still, we have an error. Still, we have an error. Let's see how we've done it here, so we can just do the same thing because I cannot be bothered. Lua is 2 spaces, not 1. Okay. Sorry, not spaces, it's 2 less than symbols. There you go. That's what it should have been. And now if we do... Yay, finally. That means that we have the default configuration for the what's it called, the nvim-dap UI thing, which is cool. Now the thing we have to do is to actually kind of understand it. Without knowing Lua, we're going to have to understand what the configuration does and remove certain elements, right? That's what we need to do, which if I remember very well, the elements we need to remove are the watches there and the REPL. I think we're going to leave the console there, and we can actually change the size, which is good. 40 columns, that's good. So this is one element, this is another element, the position bottom and left. Okay, cool. I'm liking this. I'm liking the way they've developed this tool. It's quite easy to understand. So let's begin by removing the watches, right? That's what we want to do. How do you comment in Lua? Is it that? Is it this? Is it this? Oh, it's just that. Yeah, let's comment that. Watches, and we want to remove the console as well, the REPL. Representational console. And that was the scopes. See, this is a different one because it's not just an ID, it's got a size as well, but we'll take a look at that in a second. Now, thing is, let's look at our project again and see what it looks like now, shall we? Let's close build there, and let's open main. Let's set a breakpoint somewhere in main. Let's, there you go. So here's main, let's set a breakpoint there. And let's actually run it. It was inside build, if I'm not mistaken. SRC, audio demo. Audio demo is the thing itself, right? It has hit. So now what we have to do is to do the whole Lua bullshit. So Lua require and dap UI. That's set up, if I'm not mistaken. It was the first one, and then the second one was Lua require dap UI. Open. Yeah, so here we are. We're gonna close Chad open, and again we still have the watches though. We still have the watches there, and we still got this weird thing here called scratch. Oh, this is the REPL. Okay. Okay, so the REPL was the console, but the thing is that we haven't really removed this here. The watch is still here for some reason. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So the configuration is not being it's not being read properly, I guess, or it's not being applied properly. Now, why is that? I don't know. Let's take a look. Maybe that's not the only place that we need to remove this. It's definitely the only place that, you know, watches appears. Is there a catch? You know, once you've changed the configuration, what do you need to do? So let's actually take a read of this. So you can supply an object to do require setup function to configure the elements. The default icons use conditions. Okay, so maybe we have to okay, right. Okay, so this sets up the thing, right? And you can see that this JSON like object in Lua that you pass into the setup, which happens as, you know, when we open nvim, I guess, and that's fine. We may, you know, think about not doing that every time we open Vim, but that's something we can leave for the future. Now, when we called require setup without anything in it, it just used the default configuration. So what I'm saying is we don't actually need to call setup because setup has already been called there with the right stuff. Now let's try that again. Chat open, and let's go to main here, put a breakpoint there. Let's close this for now and then do a Lua require dap UI and then just call open, I guess. Right? Something didn't go right, so let's do it again. Lua require dap UI open. This is much better, you see. Watches is gone, REPL is gone. I don't know what this particular one here is. It's just a random buffer that we've got. But you know, it's a little bit less bloated. So now if we run our thing, so build SOC audio demo and then audio okay, good, that's much better. What's this thing? This is the stacks, right? Yeah, this is the main, so it says the stack trace, which is very important, and then the locals here. So if I just keep going into it, no stopped threads, cannot move. Huh, interesting. To be honest, I don't really know what's going on there. Let's put a breakpoint everywhere and see what's going on. Maybe this is just a little bit buggy, unfortunately. And again, we're initializing it again. Initialize the backend. We got rid of the actual output of the program, so that we need to add that back, basically. Or is it here? Oh yeah, it's all here. It's all here. This other tab actually does show the representation of the program. So this is an output only buffer, which is cool. You know, we've basically lost this this thing. We need to add it back there somehow. So, for example, if you want to see if the value of this is lock left or is lock right, we can look here, you know, it's true, and the other one is false. So far, yeah, both true. Seems to be working fine. Cool. Okay, so yeah, you know, for loops seems to be working fine as well. I mean, there was only a few notes, but if we look at the Space Odyssey now, and that should just be a... Oh, we don't want the globals, we want the locals here. What is it called? Oh, maybe it isn't globals, right? No. Where is Space Odyssey? Where can I find it? Is it in globals? Oh, there you go. Space Odyssey. We can see the elements, okay. So we can see the value of each node, which is great. And, you know, as far as this goes, we have a full debugger working here in Vim, so that is amazing. This is incredible, incredible. We can even use these buttons, I guess. Let's have a look. Yeah, seems to be working fine. And if we let it run, it does finish running essentially, eventually, I guess. Okay, cool. I mean, so just to say we achieved the stuff that we wanted to do this video or this stream, I have a very good thing we can do right now, which is to replace all of the couts with the logs here. So let's do that. First of all, how do I close the debugger? I want to close everything here. Oh gosh. Close, okay. We can toggle, right? Yeah. Maybe if we had a map for this where, you know, press one of the keys, Control Shift and D or something like that, we can set it to toggle. Okay. But for now, let's just use the Lua equivalent. So Lua require dpui.toggle. Okay, cool. Let's close that one as well. Oh. Yeah, one of the things I don't like is that it leaves the output tab, the output program tab open now, and I accidentally obviously closed everything. So yeah, let's go for it. I mean, the very first thing, I can look for couts everywhere, so you can see that there's quite a few, right? Couts. Oh, there's only one. There's only one cout. All right. And this entire main file here, I've only got one cout, which is good. Not a lot of work that we have to do then, right? So we've got audit.h, and I believe audit.cpp had the actual SPD log. So we're going to be using this library here for logging. That's what we use in other places of the code base, in other parts of the code base. So let's begin by modifying the audit demo and seeing what we need to do first, because basically we need to SPD copy this line here spd log required, and we're going to paste it into our audio demo, right? Okay, so we've got that, and then let's change this to I do really hate the tab spacing. There should really be 2 spaces, I guess, for me. Boost and then spd log. I can just copy again. I'm just going to copy it from the other thing here. You see, these lines are too big for my liking. They are being warped by CMake. So let's fix all of it now while we have time. Okay, and this one, same thing here. What was it? spd log, okay. And just for the sake of leaving things in alphabetical order, even though it's capital. So what we've done here is essentially include the library spd log into my audio demo library, so I can replace the couts. spd log is just a third-party library that is quite popular, I guess, for C++, but it just does login essentially. So log into terminal. I believe it supports files and stuff as well. But yeah, that's what I decided to use. So this line here, target link libraries, is just going to say, you know, this spd log library is needed for my audio demo. In other words, it's going to link it when it's compiling. So we can close the rest of it now, just to leave it a bit uncluttered. Let's look at the main.cpp file. Let's replace the cout with, of course, at the very top, I think we're going to need to include the spd log, right? Spd log. Is it logger.h? Right? And what's the issue? Was it match this with this? Okay. I'm not too sure why he's complaining there. Oh, there you go, we found it. We do need to, before we do anything, really, we should have reconfigured the CMake project, right? It's gonna have to be done manually, because I haven't set up any shortcuts or anything like that. Please don't build me boost again. And there you go. Now it's all configured. And we're just going to move or copy the compile commands above, really. Cool. Oh, spd log.h, by the way. I am not sure why this is not. Yeah, there you go. Now we found it, because it has the right compile commands, you see. So you complete me was lagging a little bit there. Let me down for a second. What is it now? Okay, I know we're fine. I'm just going to save that, and then it takes a while for it to refresh the IntelliSense, but you know, what can you expect? It's a Raspberry Pi 4. And now we can replace the cout with the spd log, I guess, stuff. So spd log here, we've got code completion. Is it info? Info, yeah. I'm just going to say failed to stop the stream. And that is it. I mean, we've done one thing today. Cool. And as a quick to-do, I would probably like to essentially remove a lot of the, not remove, but basically refactor a lot of the long lines, because it's quite hard to read, isn't it? And how many columns do we have here, for example? This is column 79, so yeah, I mean, it's going way, some of the lines are going way over the 75 column guide, I guess, that people tend to use. So that's cool, that's cool. And just for the icing on the cake, let's put a breakpoint here. And require, oh, let's do a Lua, the APUI, the open, or toggle, in fact, right? There you go. So my to-do list, maybe for next video, when we set up a map that will toggle the debugging stuff, whenever it toggles, it will also toggle the file explorers, because we don't need the file explorer there. It's just too much when everything's open at once. So yeah, it's much better without it, isn't it? But anyway, let's run it now. Build src. Oh, we haven't actually built it, by the way, so it's not going to work, I guess. cmake build. Oops. So let it build first, and then we'll debug things. So obviously this is going to take a while because it's a Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, now that it's built, I can run the audio demo here while debugging it as well. And if you look at this buffer here, should be the representation of our code, right? So it's running. It does say invalid card here. Kind of makes me think that there's an issue somewhere. The breakpoint didn't hit. Kind of makes me think that it's not initializing it properly. Maybe before we go, let's just put a few not breakpoints, but a few SPD logs here where we can just say where things went wrong. So failed to initialize stream or something. So that's one of the times where we return early, just so we can see whether or not things are returning early without me having to step through the entire code. There's another one here. Okay. So my guess is that, you know, when we ran it just then, it failed right here. But that's something we'll see. Let's build it again. Okay, so it has built, and then let's run it again. Build src audio demo. Audio demo is the executable. Oh, invalid card there. It's still running. I mean, and it done for -1, skipping and load. Okay. See, when it's debugging, it does. I'm liking this because it's not really going past the 30% CPU usage, which is kind of good, really. But why is it not? Let me just put a breakpoint there and see if where it's going up to. Why does it go through it now? Let's put another breakpoint there and see where it goes. I guess which one's the continue? That one. So it stopped here. So this time it seemed to have worked fine. Now my question is why wasn't it hitting the other breakpoints earlier? Maybe it was just adding them in the failures and it wasn't actually failing. That's interesting. Well, anyway, I think we're gonna leave this video here, the stream here. Today has been very productive, I guess. So we learned that we can configure this using the Lua configuration. We've also included the configuration file inside of vimrc, and we might actually want to do the same for the other configuration files, which is something I'm definitely going to do by the next stream. So if I do, let me just Lua require dpui.toggle. No. Lua require dpui. There you go, that's better. I was just trying to toggle it again, but it didn't seem to work. Things are very buggy for now. Oh no, didn't want to. So yeah, for the next stream, what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna put all this Lua stuff into their own configuration files, because that's what they are, the configuration files, right? And I'm just going to include it here as a source, just like we can do here, just to declutter our main configuration for a while, because it's already full as it is, right? It's difficult to read. But yeah. Okay guys, I'm going to leave you here, and if you're watching this in the future, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, and I'm sorry if I mumbled for a bit. I just, I was a bit confused, but yeah. Hopefully the next stream will be a bit clearer. So have a good night and Happy New Year, and bye-bye.